I want to welcome each one of you today here. You're very special. So, I just have to look around and see each of the faces, see each of the souls expressing. It's wonderful. And all of you out there in Zoom land, and also those of you that will be connecting later. It's not later, but by recording. You're here today too. I am best known as Shirley Angel Love, and so I'll just be kind of guiding us in the order of service today. And we're going to mute you on Zoom, but we'll connect you back and you're not lost. You're still here. Okay, so we do have some opportunities this coming week that I'll share with you. Early Birds meets every Sunday morning at 9:30 by way of Zoom, and some of you come and are in the fellowship hall to join. And so that's a good thing. We're doing a new book, and it is called The Mini Course for Life. Thank you. So we have our wonderful Rev Kamatara with us today from Albuquerque. And next Sunday will be Dr. Edward. And then on the 30th will be the video, How to Love and Be Loved. Oh, that's wonderful. And then on Thursday evening, we meet in the fellowship hall or by Zoom. And now we're listening. No, I guess we're also observing a video by Greg Brayton, and that is on missing links. I think this is our third time. You won't miss anything. So just come, because it's a wonderful time to get new information, reminding us of where we've come from is what it's about this time. And yes, it is on Thursday at 7 o'clock. We're generally here 7 to about 8:30 because we also have some discussion afterwards. That's good to be able to give your opinion. Okay, and as a tithing community, we sent tithes to Habitat for Humanity of Las Cruces in the amount of $640. Oh, bless them, bless them. Also to Star Schneider, who transports animals nationwide so they can find forever homes. That's another wonderful thing. And lastly, but not leastly, and very important, is that we have a prayer team that prays with you for your requests. And this takes place on Tuesdays at 4:30. And that's a good time for you to pause and be present as they pray with you and with others. And we do know that prayer works. We've had many answers, haven't we? Okay, so now it is time for our invocation. Oh, how grateful we are this morning to be together, to know that we are love, and we've come to share the love we are and to receive the love we are. We greet, Great Spirit, the angels, the ascended masters, all of the heavenly hosts that are here with us, that were here with us before we even got here. And we say, oh, thank you for your presence. And this day, we're so thankful for the freedom in America to be able to have a free choice to come and to be together. And so, we bless everyone that is here. We send out blessings to every man, woman, and child on the planet. I bless those who bring the music today, who take care of the technology, who created printed word or word through Zoom or computer. And I bless our speaker today. We are so blessed. And so it is. All right, so if you would like to stand, we're going to do our song of joy, Top of the World. Be seated, and boy, are you a good little choir out there. All right. And so now it's time for us to read our together our vision, our mission, and affirmation. Now we have it on the screen, and we also have it on this little printout. Okay? Our vision: to elevate spiritual consciousness in our world. Our mission: to support individual spiritual quests through celebration, study, counsel, loving fellowship, and service. And our affirmation: as we celebrate independence this month, I affirm that I am free from all bondage imposed by my limited thinking. I now know that I am fused with unlimited, and the divine supports me in all that I attempt, and so it is. All right, and so we're honored today by Doug Adamz. We love having him here.
This song is called Brandon Mountain. It's a brand new song. Today is its world premiere. Nobody's heard it before. And Well, once I was in Ireland, Southwest Ireland, County Kerry, and it was a time in my life when I was kind of really split open, and I was taking, well, that's the setting for this. It's about just looking at a lake there in Southwest Ireland. They call it a loch. Reflecting on reflections from an Irish loch, a little pond that by chance I came upon while wandering on Brandon Mountain. So enchanting was the sight, the dazzling sun, the dancing light. I could have lingered till the night, way out of sight on Brandon Mountain. Each ripple cast a dazzling ray. The breeze directs the light ballet. The sky itself came down to play that blessed day on Brandon Mountain. The waters come, the waters go, the loch she stays because she knows the rhythm of the ebb and flow. On Brandon Mountain, the loch she spoke, though silently, the truth she showed that I still see. Life goes on eternally, and all is one, including me. Reflecting on reflections from an Irish loch, a little pond that by chance I came upon while wandering on Brandon Mountain. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you. It brings tears of joy, so I'm having to put myself back together.
Good.
And now it's time for our reading. And Reverend Kamatara and I will be sharing today with you about power. And so I've taken a short reading from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross and David Kessler, Life Lessons. Our real power is not derived from our position in life. It is the expression of that authenticity inside of us, our strength, integrity, and grace externalized. We don't realize that each of us has the power of the universe within us. That gives me holy goosebumps. We look around and we see others as powerful. We see nature as powerful. We can witness a seed turning into a flower, or the sun crossing the sky every day. We even see life created in us, from us. Yet we ourselves sometimes disconnect from all of this power. God did not make nature powerful and man weak. Our power comes from the knowledge that we are unique, and from our understanding that we have the same innate power as all other creations. Our power lies deep within us. It is the power with which we were born. It has been forgotten. If it's been forgotten, it needs only to be recognized again. A grateful person is a powerful person, for gratitude generates power. All abundance is based on being grateful for what we have. True power, happiness, and well-being are found in the fine arts of gratitude. Being grateful for what you have, for things just as they are. Having gratitude for who you are, those things you have brought to the world in your birth, your uniqueness. In 1,000,000 years, there will never be another you. No one can see and respond to the world quite the way you do. And so now it is time to welcome Reverend Kamatara from Albuquerque. We're always so blessed when you're here, and all that wonderful energy.
I just did. We're good. All right. Well, thank you so much, Shirley. That was not only the perfect reading, also just your very presence. I don't know if you feel that about Shirley, but just by sheer proximity, I feel so loved. So I really appreciate all that you bring to everything that you do. Thank you. And Doug, I swear, Spirit always is cooking with gas, because every time I come, Doug's like, well, I don't know, I'm going to do the song about a horse. And then I end up talking about a horse, or he brings a song about Europe. And I just got back from Europe, and it was very inspirational and lots of reflections happening for me and awesome perspectives. And I do have to say, it was lovely posting on Facebook my little travel log, and then all y'all were, commenting on it and liking it and just sweetness. So it was like y'all were with me while we were doing this trip. And that's just the beautiful bounty of a chosen family like this, and that we're all together even when we're not together. So I missed you in June, but you all were with me on this awesome trip. And I was surprised when I got back from the trip when I saw the Science of Mind magazine. I don't know if any of you got this. It's somewhat akin to the Daily Word if you're with Unity. This is the Science of Mind magazine that has the daily readings and interesting articles and Ernest Holmes excerpts and just neat things. And so I thought, I'm going to pull this out. Let me see what it says. And there's always the topic for the month. And I have to admit, oftentimes they're, in the past, they're real standard topics like vulnerability, emotions, self-care. I'm like, yeah, that's all good stuff. I need that. It's good stuff. And this one said, speaking truth to circumstance. What? What does that even mean? And the old English teacher in me, of course, was incensed because that's not even how the idiom goes. So I was like, okay, I have to sit with this one. What on earth does this mean? Because how does the idiom really go? Speaking truth to power. Right, so why would this be speaking to, I don't even understand. So I had to really sit with it for a minute, and I was like, okay, what does speaking truth to power typically indicate? Usually people use that phrase when there's an imbalance of power. Someone has a whole bunch and someone does not have any or not much, and something really bad and naughty is going down. Like there is some kind of injustice, there's something that's seriously no bueno. And like David and Goliath, someone is going to take truth, like a stone, and hurl it at power and kill the giant. Now I know they say the truth will set you free, but I don't think that's what the Bible maybe meant at that point. Because if your only goal is to just hurl your truth at someone and just kill them and walk away, okay, you just keep doing that. That's great. But that doesn't work for me. I've never really seen that work in a long-term sustainable way. Like when people are just truth hurling, typically we don't get anywhere. Truth hurling doesn't reconfigure power dynamics. It doesn't lead to high impact change. We know that high impact change, especially in this teaching, faith, and philosophy, requires a narrative shift, which is why we say change your thinking, change your life. But we know that's not just a bumper sticker. I mean, that is deep and heavy spiritual warrior kind of work, because the truth that sets you free takes time and depth and quality and the context of relationships in which to understand that truth and to practice and to hold on to it and to do the inner work for it to be real. And that's when the truth might set you free. So that half of the phrase, that really made me think about truth. But I also want to take a minute to think about power, because that kind of power, like if I could just hurl truth at power and magically reconfigure the power dynamic, that's not even the way we talk about power in this spiritual community. That's not what power is, not the way we believe it to be. Power is more what Shirley was reading in that beautiful excerpt from Elizabeth Kubler-Ross. Power is that inherent divinity within. No one can take that. It can never be imbalanced. It can't. Wow. So when we look at what power is in Science of Mind, of course, I went back to the textbook and Ernest Holmes and the big old beefcake of a textbook. And if you look at the introduction, the first 4 chapters, it's the thing itself, which is about, this divine something, whatever words you want to put to it. It's the way it works, what it does, and how to use it, which is a really interesting concept, that we could use the divine to accomplish something or to do something, how to use it. And in the how to use it chapter, truth and power figure very prominently in that chapter, just like, the twin forces that they are. They're almost inseparable. So on page 58.2, if you're following along at home, he writes about having the power of creation when we speak our word with faith in the truth. And then he says, we don't put the power into this word because it's already there, right? But we do let the power of the law or the divine flow through it. And the one who most completely believes in this power will produce the best results. So, translation for the Ernest Holmes Impaired, it means to own your truth. It's that kind of truth that could set you free. In fact, on the next page, 59, he goes on to say, a practitioner, so someone who practices this teaching, consciously removes the apparent obstruction and leaves the field open to a new influx of spirit. He resolves things into thoughts, dissolves the negative appearance in the condition or the circumstances by recognizing only perfection. And then you know how Ernest Holmes puts stuff in caps, all caps, so it feels like he's yelling at you. It's fantastic. So I'm going to be very dramatic. He says, the practitioner must know and must state that there are no obstacles in the pathway of truth. And I'm sure there's like finger snapping involved right there. Okay. And then he calms down and he says, he must know that his word, being the activity of truth, removes all obstructions from the pathway of the one for whom he is working. Wow. So know it, own it, work it, use it, because truth is your power. Real power doesn't need truth to be spoken to it, because power just is. Truth is. God is. I am. Really what we're trying to do when we speak truth to power is actually reconfigure the story we're telling about the circumstance. We're trying to balance our ledger and it's not computing. And maybe that's why going to a practitioner or a prayer partner or, someone who is wise, how do we get this reconfigured? Because there is no actual power imbalance. It's just the story I'm telling about the circumstances is not jiving. And I need to realign with the divine that is the presence and power within. And to know it and own it and rock, right? So the trick is, can we recognize when we think we're speaking truth to power, when we're hurling truth, and take a time out and think, what are these circumstances? Because really, the only way there can be a power imbalance is if I am giving my power away, which again is only an appearance, but it sure feels real, doesn't it, when I'm giving my power away? So I'm going to give some examples of different times that I typically give my power away. And it's not a comprehensive list. You probably have your own fabulous little ways that you give your power away too, but maybe something will resonate with you. Like you might be giving your power away if, have you ever met people who just offer throwaway apologies? It's, I'm sorry this and I'm sorry that. And I was trained as a woman to do that. Just apologize for my very existence. Sorry, 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 sorry. Oh my gosh. Could I just save the sorry for when I do something that actually merits an apology? And then it would be more meaningful when I apologize. And it wouldn't dilute the power of my word. I was definitely taught to tap dance around the thing. And, well, perhaps maybe if you don't mind, do you think you could consider, oh my gosh, could you just cut to the chase? What are you trying to say? And I absolutely was taught to do those kind of speech patterns. If I could just sugarcoat it, if I could just tap dance around it, like, wow, that is absolutely, all that indirect communication is just giving my power away. And when I have my defeating self-talk and those false and limiting beliefs, oh, I can't do this, there's no way, not in a million years, oh, I don't have talent like that, like I couldn't possibly, oh, I'm just giving my power away, making myself this big In fact, when Bo, our youngest child, was younger, Bo used to do Aikido, which is a martial art. And it's a very beautiful martial art because I am a pacifist and they found a martial art that jived with me. I was like, okay, so let's go do Aikido. And the sensei, actually quite wisely, I can say now, much to my consternation, told all the parents, you need to get on the mat too. You need to understand what your children are doing. What? I did not sign up for this. I am the most unathletic person on earth. I am lucky to walk and chew gum. When I go to the soccer game, I pass out the orange slices. Like, no, I was in color guard, violin, speech and debate. Like, no sports. But I love my child. So I put on the gi, the little outfit that they wear, and I got on the mat. And I have to tell you, I was this big. I hardly even spoke, if you can imagine. And I was scared to death. I was timid. I didn't want to touch anyone. I was just like hardly doing it. I was terrified. And then after, I don't know, however long, I had this brilliant idea. I was teaching in high school at the time that I was going to bring my students there for a field trip to do this really cool lesson with the sensei because it tied in with a thing we were reading, of course. And he was like, oh yeah, bring your kids by. It'll be beautiful. Well, in that setting, I am the teacher. These are my students, and you will behave, and this is the time, and spit out your gum, and what are you doing? And he looked at me like, what? Where has this person been all this time? Are you kidding me? He didn't say anything while the students were there, but let me tell you, that next practice when Bo and I were there, and it was just kind of us and just the regular students, oh, he pulled me aside and gave me a what for. He was like, do you just check your power at the door? I don't want a spaghetti noodle on the mat. You bring your power to the mat. It was crazy. I was like, yes, sensei. And he's like, no, I want it. I was like, yes, sensei. It was crazy. But he was totally right. I had entirely given my power away. I just checked it at the door. And I don't know how much better I did when I brought my power to the mat, but I sure tried. I tried. But it was really an interesting perspective. And another time when I know that I give my power away is when I'm around people where I'm just like walking on eggshells. And I'm like, okay, well, if I say this, and then he's going to do that, and then this will happen, and then I'm kind of like facilitating, manipulating the situation, and I'll just give you, I love that word, I made that up. I'm going to give you the version of me that I think you want, so I can get the thing that I think I want. Oh, it never works. I know I tried. I would probably have Olympic medals in that game if it were a sport, but it really doesn't work, and it just gives all my energy away because it's exhausting to be in that game playing. It's ridiculous. And another way that we really give our power away is when we take things personally. So to just take a play out of Don Miguel Ruiz, don't take things personally. The 4 agreements are amazing. But yeah, when I get really embroiled in that victimhood energy and this injustice and poor me and this thing happened and I'm all embroiled in the drama and all in the conditions and all in the circumstances. And do you ever get story looping? Oh, I just start telling that story to like anyone who will listen. Or at 4 a.m, I am writing a text message in my head to that person because of the thing, and I'm writing it like over and over and over, and I'm editing it and improving it in my head. And then, thank goodness, I might fall asleep a little bit. And when I get up at 6 a.m. and I have my breakfast and I take a moment to breathe, and then I'm like, oh, I'm not sending that. That's a terrible idea. Thank goodness for a moment of grace. But that story looping really should set off some red flags, like, whoa. Knock it off. Take it to prayer. Surrender it to the divine. I'm just throwing my power out there. In fact, it reminds me of a classic teaching story about the 2 monks. Maybe you've heard this, but it's such a good one. There's a senior monk and a junior monk, and they're traveling back home to their monastery, and they come across the river, and they look over, and there's a woman who's struggling to get across, and the junior monk thinks he's going to be all that in a bag of chips, and he's like, oh yeah, senior monk, we took a commitment, a vow to not have any contact with women, so I'm going to pray that someone else will come along and help this beautiful woman. Let's cross the river. And the senior monk just looks at him like, what? And just, puts the lady on his back and just goes right across the river. And the junior monk is trying to keep up across the river and is just incensed at what happened, but, doesn't want to say anything. So the senior monk puts the lady down. Oh, thank you, goodbye. Yes, of course, God bless you, wonderful. And the monks are walking along, going back to the monastery. And this junior monk is just stewing in what happened. But he doesn't say anything, so they walk about an hour. And at this point, he is just fuming. And then they walk about 2 hours, and he's ready to just, smoke's coming out of his ears. He's ready to lose his mind. And at 3 hours, he can't take it anymore. He just blows up at that senior monk, like, how could you? We took a vow to not have contact with women. You broke your vow. What kind of example are you for me? And the senior monk just looks at him and says, dear brother, I only carried the woman for 5 minutes. You have been carrying her for 3 hours. So who gave away their power in that moment? Over all that time, all that wasted time, all that wasted energy. It's like having 15 tabs open in your brain. If you know in computers, when you have all the tabs open, it's a total drain. It's a total drain. Close all those tabs and focus on what's right here. So take a moment to consider. Those were some of my power patterns. Maybe some of them resonated with you. Those might be some of your favorites too. But what are your power patterns? Can you think, when do you tend to give away your power? With whom? In what circumstance? There probably are little ones that get you. And it'd be really interesting to think, why? Why do I give my power away to that person or that situation? What is it about that? Ooh, let's pull on that yarn. Where's the end of that one? That's interesting. And do you have particular behaviors that are your go-tos that are just not helpful? And on the flip side, where do you tend to give your power away? But also, what zaps your power? I have fabulously unhealthy choices that I do, like watching TV or doom scrolling. What do they call it in your phone? I should just call it death scrolling, right? And just getting sucked into things that just zap my power, or particular people that are just power zombies. They just suck it right from me, like the vampires. They just take it right from you, and you're like, oh, ouch. So can I make a healthier choice and not choose these things that delete my power? I don't want to deplete myself. And also, could you think of times when do you feel your power? When are you in the zone and you're rocking it and you know it? Okay, what does that resonance feel like? Can you take that feeling and transfer it to a time where you oh yeah, I'm going into a situation I don't usually feel. Well, okay, what would it be like if I walked into that room and owned it, didn't just check my power at the door, but I brought my power to the mat? That would be an interesting experiment to run this week. And it's not to run anyone over with the bus, it's just to be in your power. You're driving the bus. Okay. And really, what fuels up the bus? What is it that reconnects you with the truth that powers you up? Maybe it's the Sunday service, maybe it's your prayer partner, maybe it's the book that Early Birds is reading, maybe it's Science of Our magazine, or it's the music that you're writing, or singing at hospice care, or walking at the Saturday market and having a great, what is it that reconnects you with the truth that powers you up? More of that, right? Because that's the way that real power shows up. It's consciously standing in our truth to become that conduit of power. And it's not angry and loud and hurling and violent and destructive. That's not real power. Real power is quiet and sweeping and impactful, and you can feel it deep down. And you know it when someone has it, right? You just know it. And it's life affirming. It's life giving. That's how you know it's true. And that's why it's so powerful. It's like Martin Luther King Jr. or Gandhi or Mother Teresa, who's like this little wisp of a woman, but dang, was she not powerful? Or our precious Shirley, who's quiet, but powerful because she knows her truth and stands in it and it radiates out. I love it. I want to practice that. So I really hope this week you're going to try to recognize, when are you merely hurling truth? Like, oh, I'm just going to take you out with my truth. Whoa, flag on the play, back it up. Can you redirect yourself and realize, okay, I am speaking truth to circumstances, not power. I am speaking truth to circumstances. I am realigning the story I'm telling. I'm realigning with principle, with truth. That is awesome. That is powerful. When I can recognize that, yes. And can you know that no one has power over you or me, ever? No one can take that away from you, ever. Get thee behind me, Satan. Thou hast no power over me. None. You are aligned with the divine that is the presence and power within. Because when we own our truth, we stand in our power, and that is the ultimate freedom to live our best life. All right, let's take it to prayer, where we realign with truth. All right, in this moment, in this place, with these beautiful people, it is so easy to recognize that presence of the one loving source, of the all that is, this thing that I choose to call God. And I know that God is the sacred essence, the sacred power that flows in, through, and as all beings, all creatures, all experiences. It is that oneness expressing in the here and now. It is the rocket fuel that makes this whole thing work. It's the something sacred going on. And so I am aligned with the divine. That is the presence and power within. You are aligned with the divine. That is the presence and power within. And nothing can take away from that. There is no such thing as a power imbalance or a faulty truth, and it's a capital T truth. So I speak my word for each person here, that we gain clarity this week about our power patterns and when we might be giving our power away, and what helps us to realign with the divine, to see the truth, to speak it, to know it, to own it, to rock it, and to stand in our power. And to do that with grace and humility and kindness and compassion, because power and truth they both are life affirming and life giving. It's a wonderful bounty when someone is standing in the power of their truth. And so I'm knowing that for each one of us this week, that we are exploring and learning and growing and gaining clarity about our truth and our power and how we express that out into the world, to have the freedom to express ourselves authentically and to reconfigure ourselves when we fall out of alignment. And I'm so grateful for this time to reconnect to the truth, to reconnect to our power that just is, and for us to know the truth for each other when we cannot remember it for ourselves. That is the bounty of spiritual community, that we are sharing the journey and all helping each other along. So knowing that we are each divinely guided and blessed this week as we own our truth and live in our power, I know that all of it is unfolding in divine right order now. So please join me in saying, and so it is.
That was wonderful. Well, when Kamatara told me that she was going to talk about truth to power, I thought I might do one of my protest songs, my hurling song. But I don't think I will, because I get it. I get exact. That's really a great message. So this is more about breaking some of those patterns in your head, in your obsessions. You might not think of that when you first hear the song. It was written by Carole King and her husband. The lyricists, we always forget who the lyricists are, but, and really made a great version was done by Taj Mahal. It is take a giant step outside your mind. Say you've loved and lost, sorrow turn your heart to frost. Time will mend your heart again. Remember the feeling as a child when you woke up and morning smiled. It's time you felt that way again. There's just no percentage in remembering the past. It's time you learn to live again and love at last. Come with me, leave your yesterday behind. Take a giant step outside your mind. Stare at me in disbelief. You say for you there's no relief. I wouldn't steer you wrong. Don't sit there in that lonely room just looking back inside that gloom. It's not where you belong. I'll take you where the taste of life is green, and everywhere worlds of wonder to be seen. Come with me, leave your yesterday behind. Take a giant step outside your mind. Sorrow turn your heart to frost. Time will mend your heart again. Remember the feeling as a child when you woke up and morning smiled. It's time that you felt that way again. There's just no percentage in remembering the past. It's time you learn to live again and love at last. time. Don't overthink it.
Thank you, Doug. That was great. Now it's time for our offering. And as Rebecca brings the basket forward, as you heard Shirley say, we are a tithing community. And this last month, we tithed to Habitat for Humanity and for someone who volunteers to take pets or abandoned pets to new homes. And I know there are a lot of pet lovers here. And every month or every time we put the tithe together, we try to give something to pets or pet organizations as well, because it is important. Someone this morning was saying maybe we don't get enough touching, and well, for those of us who live alone, pets provide that. I don't think there's anything that beats a nice wet dog's tongue. So let's just, Shirley's there. So we take this time there is an abundance that the Creator wants each and every one of us to have. There's nothing more than love for all of us. And love comes in many, many flavors. And one of those flavors is the divine breathing abundance through each and every one of us. So we accept these gifts. We see this basket filled to overflowing, enough to take care of this community and to tithe to other communities within our community. So we just know that the energy and the power of our donations is an acknowledgement of our acceptance of the abundance of the divine. I see this for myself, and I see this for every one of you. So we just sit with that for a moment and feel that love, that caring and support of the divine, of spirit, of that one source, flowing through each and every one of us. And we give thanks for this. And so it is. Thank you, Rebecca. And there are others here today that deserve some thanks. Those who have been taking care of the technology today, fantastic, thank you. We have some musicians here in the house. Hey, thank you again. We have our platform assistant. Thank you, Miss Shirley Angelov. And we have our speaker today. Thank you, Kamatara. There's one other group we've forgotten to thank today. And that's all of us. You brought your loving presence to today, your energy. It's here. I feel it. I hope you do as well. So those of you on Zoom, we'll leave the meeting open a little bit after service, and you can visit with one another. And those of our friends and family that are elsewhere and on Zoom, we can say howdy to you as well. And after that, please, those of us who are in person, join us next door for some tea and crumpets, I believe. So thank you all. And now, please stand for our benediction, and then we'll do our peace song. Spirit in the midst of us is mighty. Joy, peace, and eternal life are our true nature and flow through us into the world. And so it is.